Hey guys, how are you? I hope you guys had a nice weekend. I finally got the parts I was waiting for, the white metal parts for the Cessna conversion. As you can see, here is the white metal casting part for the engine. It's a crankcase with the oil pan on it, and this is the plastic one. On the left here is the plastic engine mount, and this is the white metal mount. Same with the nose landing gear. This is the plastic on the right side. On the left side, as you can see, it's the white metal. And so for the main landing gear, the bottom one here is a white metal, and the one on top is plastic. Now if I look closely, and I'll show it to you, especially these two, what you see is identical mold lines. Like you see a line going right here, and then you see a same line going on the plastic part. So to me it seems like the company who made these parts, these guys here, that's just the scale aircraft conversions, maybe that's the company, and they basically took the plastic parts, put it in a process, made the molds, and made the white metal castings out of these plastics. Because if you look at it closely, they are pretty much identical. Like if you see this, the opening where the piston would be for the cylinder, and the housing around it, and where these the tubes would be for the rockers, and same on the metal one here. It's pretty much identical. Even the back part of both engines are the same, the metal casting and the plastic ones, and so is the oil pan. And the only difference I see is in the metal one, they actually made the crankshaft as part of the casting, but in the plastic one you have to add the the plastic crankshaft between these two plastic pieces. Now if I come on to the landing gear, nose landing gear, you will, I'll just tilt it a little bit to show you. Basically it's the same gear, the strut and the leg, the forks, as the plastic one, which is this metal one here, except what they did is they added the two more pieces which go one here and on the other side onto this, and casted the metal piece. And then as far as for the oleo strut fork here, I've glued that. That was a separate piece on plastic, and it's also a separate piece with the white metal, which is sitting right there inside the case itself at the moment. This is my first time working with white metal, and I've seen few videos how people are doing. Basically, from what my understanding, it's the same process. You take the files, you file all the flash off, and this gear has had a lot of flash on it, really, and I had to clear quite a bit of a flash. And then the metal, like you would think it's a solid metal, but it's not. It's very malleable, very soft metal. The white metal parts for the nose gear is very soft versus the one for the engine, because since it's all metal, so this whole block is very solid. So is the engine mount area, this piece right here, the engine mount. I'm thinking that the white metal gear is much more solid than the plastic one, obviously, because it's white metal. It's a metal, it's heavier, and all these pieces are heavier, and it helps with the central of gravity when they go into the fuselage. Because when you put these tails on to the wing, right there, this whole section becomes pretty heavy, because it's not just the tails, there's a horizontal stabilizer that goes in between there too. So the weight shifts towards the back, and if you don't have adequate counterbalance in the front, your airplane is not going to be level. It's going to sit on its tail, and it's not going to be good. So these white metal parts actually act as a counterbalance, and it's really nice to get them because they're pretty accurate. And except for the firewall, now this is a white metal firewall, and if you look at on the top, you'll see a gray lip. Now that gray lip itself is a plastic parts on the back, I just wanted to measure and see if they are identical, which they pretty much are, except the top of the plastic has a more material on it versus the metal one. The shiny part is the metal, the gray one is plastic, as you can see. Right here, I'm just trying to focus it, and that's where you see an edge of a plastic which is more, which is more than the metal one. And you can see the thickness here. Both of the parts are same thickness, except one is a bit smaller in height than the other. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to put like a strip of plastic on top of the metal, and get the equal gap here, I mean equal height, because if I don't, what would happen, there'll be a gap made when I'll put these in the fuselage here, and they won't stick on the top of the fuse there. So in order for them to stick, I need to have them the same size. And I think apart from that, everything else looks pretty good. And then once you clean the flash, you actually clean it with the alcohol, rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. And once the parts are cleaned with the isopropyl alcohol, then you can prime them and paint them as you normally would do with the plastic ones. So as far as the accessories goes, there's only this kit available for the Roden 1/32 scale O2 Cessna O2 Skymaster, which comes with what you get is the engine mount, you get the crankcase for the engine, you get the nose gear strut with the fork, you get the main landing gear, the forward firewall, not the back, the forward firewall, and then that a fork piece in there. So that's about it. And I thought when I was ordering, I thought the floor would also come, but the floor didn't. So those are the parts that came with it, and I'm gonna clean them up and prime and paint them before I actually am gonna mount them, because the engine crank here, this crankcase here, needs the mounts to be put on all four sides. The cylinder heads have to go on it, which are called jugs. The tubes have to go, and those are all ready to go, which are right in there. Like those are the cylinder heads, as you can see. So there are about 6 of them there, and then somewhere I have the tubes which are also painted, and then they'll go in. And as for the color, Continental Gold is pretty much equivalent to Tamiya X31. So I'm going to spray that on the engine before I actually mount that, and I'll put the mounts on first and then put it on the engine mount there. And this part will stay aluminum just the way it is, but the engine will be mounted, and the firewall will stay as it is too. And for the landing gear, AVM originally had the white strut part but the aluminum forks, and over a time it picked up some rust and stuff, and I'll do that for the AVM, which will be probably this one here. And this is after, this is before, so always remember I'm doing before and after, and there'll be differences how these parts are finished between the two. So this is it for part 7, and I hope you guys are enjoying it and watching my build, because I believe I'm the first one who's actually converting a Roden 1/32 scale kit of a Cessna O2 Skymaster into a civilian Cessna 337B Super Skymaster. So hang there and let me know what you guys think. Take care. Bye bye.